Dogo.
It does not mean lazima chaos ikae, but what it is, sasa ni kama mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga ako kwa matanga na President William Ruto. Tuseme wako Luo Nyanza. President Raila Amolo Odinga apewe nafasi aongee mbele ya William Ruto president. Tabu.
It's gonna be chaos.
Atamaliza na atatoka. Kutoka atatoka
na watu. Yeah.
And there will be empty seats. Now, unlike now the president, the protocol inafuata. So in this scenario, sioni whereby Raila Odinga should be given a protocol. So anyway, so that's what we mean, that protocol ni muhimu sana. If you follow protocol anywhere, wherever you be, you know, life it means people who are disciplined, people who can understand, now this is my position, this is someone else's position. This is my time to speak, this is my time to listen. This is my time to react, this is my time to listen to what's being said. So what Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua again was saying, at times, you know, the president like William Ruto can be lenient. At times, as we've seen people say that the presidential team should check even on dresses.
Yeah.
At times, as a president, you are a human being. There's a time you reach utaki hizi official mingi.
Yeah.
So when you want to break them, other people will be taking advantage. Hata kuenda kusimama na ile, you know, I don't know how you get me. That's a very, very kukanyaga ile presidential podium. Hata kuongea tu hivi kusemea watu. The president has a lot of trust in you. Or is trying to use you politically.
Okay.
So again, it's good to follow that
protocol. Yeah.
Protocol. Kama unajua ni MC anaanza. MC invite a member of parliament, I invite governor. Governor, I invite wengine. So that's what I mean by saying protocol is very important.
Most definitely. And you mentioned something on the dressing. And I remember I was reading an article that I shared with you earlier on. And the author or the writer was talking about how African leaders, while in Africa, they, when going to African events and all that, they dress in the African attire, you know. And the person was talking about Mheshimiwa Ruto, for example, like when you're in Kenya, you're dressing in, you know, attires that showcase or symbolize, for example, like Africa as a whole, you know. But when you're walking in the streets of the United States, you quickly shift, instead of representing the nation, you quickly shift to wearing 4-piece, 5-piece suits, you know. And he was talking about, it's a really very interesting article, which we are going to be digesting pretty soon with Emmanuel on if Ruto is really fit for the country.
I think the opposite should be true. You know, when selling the African cultures, we have the African wares.
Yeah.
I think we should be wearing some to these presentations. You find that those one now would be, you know, it's common to them being in suits. Now, when someone comes wearing African kitenges and clothes made from African countries,
yeah.
So it shows that this pride for our country, and you are very comfortable selling our country outside there. But again, it depends with an occasion and the venue of when.
Yeah.
You're going to represent our country in an official meeting, maybe in United Nations. So here you need to, again, you see, dress is dress speaks about you, everything.
Yeah.
So again, you need to be decent, nice looking clothes for you to be official. I think that's all the reason. But again, you know, let me tell you, even the whites, not that they are always wamevaa masuti every time. The only thing, akiwa in any office, kama ako office, lazima akae kwa suti.
In official, yeah.
That's how they've grown up and they've trained themselves. But now when they're in different occasions, maybe they're outside, leisure time, they're having other, maybe their farms, doing other things, you know, again, you must dress according to the occasion. You cannot wear white shoes and rubber shoes to a muddy road.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because I've seen a lot of sessions, even the UN sessions and all that, where presidents of certain countries in Africa actually do come dressed in their official attire, like the zetwaji. They look like kanzus, something of the sort. But anyway, that's a topic of discussion for a different day, because we also want to understand political fashion as well. Now, speaking of presidents, so earlier on today, UDA distanced itself from Senator Cherargei's proposal for a presidential term increment, that is from the current 5 years to 7 years, stating that 5 years is actually not time or sufficient enough for development. So, among his suggestions, also, he suggested the reintroduction of the office of the Prime Minister, who will sit in Parliament and be the official spokesman of the government in the House. And of course, he did this through a memorandum to the National Dialogue Team. And the UDA Secretary General, that is Cleophas Malala, today stated that Cherargei's views do not actually represent UDA as a whole, despite the fact that each and every individual is entitled or has the right to put the best foot forward and give out their opinions on something. So, what do you think about this proposal to like increase the presidential term from 5 years to 7 years under the utetezi? Yeah, it's not time sufficient enough for development, and we are looking at this at the angle of the people who are, or the person who is the president right now, or the presidents that we've had in Kenya, are people who have had um, plenty of terms to actually serve. If you look at Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he served Kenya for 2 terms. Yet after serving, people are still complaining. If we look at the likes of Moi, he's been the longest serving president in Kenya, and still afterwards, we're still complaining about some development issues. Same goes to the first president of Kenya, that is Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, as well as Moi. For Moi, of course, you can say we saw, for Moi Kibaki, of course, there's proof of development. But do you feel like these leaders actually need more time, 2 more years, in order to ensure that there's sufficient development in the country?
If you can't deliver in 5 years, you can't lie to us that you can deliver in 7 years. So that's an impossibility, and again, it cannot come at this point. Whereby, you know, Tamara, not everything being said comes true.
Facts.
I don't know which term to use specifically here. I'm looking for that name. But in politics, there are other things which are being done to influence the political environment in a country. And Mheshimiwa William Ruto and his team knows how to play them well. When last did Kenyans complain about fuel prices?
They're still complaining right now.
No. Now Kenyans are talking about presidential term.
Kenyans are still complaining.
Kenyans are normal. Things are running normally. Now, what happens is, when things happen in a country, there are other things which must happen to reduce the temperature.
Oh, definitely, yes.
The political environment.
No.
And these are being well planned. Not others can happen by coincidence, but others are being made to seem to be a coincidence.
Like a distraction.
So that to shift the concentration of Kenyans from the pain of fuel prices to another discussion of a presidential term limit. So Kenyans understand how the supremacy of the constitution is being challenged. So it's not waking up and saying that today remove this article from this constitution and bring this on. No. Things are not done that way. So to me, and from where I sit, depending how you're thinking about it, what this is being known as is to shift the attention of Kenyans from the most immediate to a different one, so that things seem to be normal as they are being sorted out. So senators bringing this that we need, that again, depending, alisema akiwa
Alituma memorandum kwa National Dialogue Team.
Yeah, so these are things that Kenyans need to understand. So a politician in parliament is different from a politician in affiliate. So whatever is saying outside here is like being
It's
a
form
judge.
of distraction.
A judge in a courtroom is a very different person, and compared in church and maybe in any activity. So what's being done there is only to play with Kenyans, so that Wakenya waache kupiga kelele ya bei ya mafuta imepanda juu, waanze Ruto nataka kuongeza nini kelele. Life inaendelea. I think Kenyans should be bright like it.
So okay, Kenya should be bright like nimesikia bright like you, but you're also bright. Mbona hujajiweka hapo? Okay, he's also talked about the reintroduction of the office of the Prime Minister, who is also going to be given a seat in Parliament. I think this is part of the discussion that is ongoing for the five agendas, bipartisan talks.
You know what's being done. Being a politician, you must lie. I don't think if we can have a honest politician. I don't think, because the same President William Ruto and his team, they were the ones saying we don't have a need to have BBI. Watu hawa wangwana wanajiongezea cheo, hawa wana agenda ya Mkenya. Kazi yao ni kutaka kuongeza vyeo. Mnataka watu wa kuongeza vyeo? Hapana. Nataka tuunde serikali, or so I'm not saying. But anyway, so what happens is the same things they want to reintroduce are the same agendas Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga had seen in the handshake. They had seen that being in opposition without funds, you can't deliver well in opposition. Being in a country where you don't have a prime minister, there are things you cannot do. So wherever they, by then, now that they seemed not to favor William Ruto, he opposed them. He said we don't have need of a prime cabinet secretary. We don't have a need of official opposition. We don't have need of name them. But now, 1 year in office, you want to tell us there's needs. Then whom are we going to trust?
Of course, no one. Just the heavens.
So Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi, who is acting like a prime cabinet secretary, is in a payroll. Is earning taxpayers' money. Is driving heavily, being given a lot of security, without an office which is constitutionally instituted. Now you find that Mheshimiwa William Ruto and his team, any politician, when you are in a political debate and political campaign time, when you see that things are not going to favor you, you'll be against. But now, all be said, he's the president. He has the power. They have the majority. They're able to have that articles being amended, and maybe having the cabinet secretary office. Yeah, but again, it will challenge the supremacy of our constitution.
Most definitely, and just a repetition, UDA distance itself from that. They say those are Chergay's needs as well as proposal. That is.
How close is it to the president?
Obviously,
and of course they must distance themselves. Because what they wanted has just come to happen. So Kenyans are there now wamezoea tu. Bei mafuta si wananunua tu level.
True.
Watu wanaenda kazi warudi. Watu wamezoea. The Kenyans were being.
Anyway, speaking of people who've been in power for long, when we go to Kakamega, in an event, so the Super South MP, that is Karoli Omondi, said that a very controversial yet factual statement that rejects were ODM actually